The first time I saw him, he was covered in blood. The second time, he smiled like nothing had happened. Subscribe to the channel, and like this video if you've ever been through an intense love thriller in more ways than one. I moved into the Caledonia Tower on a Monday. It was supposed to be temporary, 3 months max, a sabbatical from the chaos of my job, my ex, and the life I'd been pretending to love. The building was old money turned forgotten. Art Deco bones wrapped in new glass, rotting from the inside. The elevator groaned every time it rose, like it was dragging secrets up with it. That's where I first saw him. Floor 13. Except officially, there was no floor 13. The panel skipped from 12 to 14. But that day, the elevator jerked, flickered, and stopped between floors. When the doors opened, he was standing there. Tall, rain-drenched. His white shirt clung to his chest, torn near the collar. His left arm was soaked in blood, not dripping but enough to stain. I stepped back. "Are you okay?" He smiled. Just that. No panic, no explanation. Like bleeding in a dark elevator shaft was a Tuesday thing. "I think you're lost," I said. "No," he replied. "I live here." The door slammed shut before I could respond. Later that night, I asked the concierge if anyone lived between floors. "There is no floor 13, she said flatly. Old superstition. I didn't sleep well. Not because of the blood. Not because of the mystery. But because the man had looked at me like he knew me. Like he was waiting. Then there was a knock. The knock was soft at first, almost hesitant. 3 sharp raps. I was half asleep, heart still hammering from the elevator encounter. I peered through the peephole. No one. But then a faint scratching sound. I opened the door a crack. There, etched into the wood frame, fresh, jagged scratches. Like someone or something was trying to claw their way inside. My breath caught. A voice whispered from the hallway, low and rough. "Open up. I'm not done with you." I spun around, but the hall was empty, just shadows stretching in the flickering light. That's when I heard it again, closer this time. A heavy boot step retreating. The next morning, I found a folded note slid under my door. The paper was damp and smeared with something dark. "Don't trust the elevator. Especially not him." I knew the man from the elevator wasn't just some lost tenant. And suddenly, the Caledonia Tower didn't feel like a refuge anymore. Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about his smile. The way his eyes held secrets, pain, and maybe, just maybe, a plea for help. I didn't know it yet, but I just stepped into a game far more dangerous than I realized. And the only way out was to trust the man on floor 13. I found him again in the lobby later that day. The man from the elevator, dark hair, piercing eyes that seemed to cut through the stale air. He was leaning against the wall, arms crossed, like he'd been waiting for me. "You saw the scratches," he said without preamble. His voice was low, edged with something raw. "They're not random. Someone's watching you." "Why me?" I asked, voice barely above a whisper. He hesitated. "Because you're closer to the truth than you think." I wanted to pull away, slam the door on this mystery, but I couldn't. Something about him was magnetic, dangerous, honest. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a crumpled photo, me, in the lobby, taken without my knowledge. "Who sent this?" I asked, heart pounding. He looked away, jaw tight. "Someone who wants to scare you off. But they won't succeed. Not while I'm here." My head spun. The man who'd terrified me in the elevator was suddenly the only person I wanted near. That night, as rain hammered against the windows, I realized I was no longer just a tenant in Caledonia Tower. I was a player in a game that might consume me and maybe save me. And the man with the dangerous eyes was my only lifeline. After that night in the lobby, I kept running into him, always when I least expected it, but most needed it. His name was Elias. Somehow, between the tension and the threats lurking around Caledonia Tower, he became my anchor. One evening, he invited me up to his apartment on the 18th floor. The space was stark but comforting, warm lights, scattered books, and an old record player humming soft jazz. We sat close on a battered couch, the weight of the day pressing between us. He reached out, his hand brushing mine like a question. "You're scared," he said quietly. I nodded, unable to hide it. "And you're the only person I trust." His thumb traced gentle circles on my wrist. "Then let me be the one who keeps you safe." The air thickened, electricity sparking in the space between us. I looked up, and his eyes held mine, soft but intense, promising something I hadn't dared hope for. Slowly he leaned in. Our lips met, a tentative brush that melted into something deeper, something real. For a moment, the dangers of Caledonia Tower disappeared. It was just us, two souls grasping for connection in a world that often felt cold and unyielding. I hadn't just found an ally in Elias. I was beginning to fall for him. The days that followed felt like a high-wire act. By daylight, we kept our distance, aware of the watchful eyes that could turn friendly faces into threats. But at night, when the city lights blurred into a soft haze, Elias and I found solace in each other. One night, as I waited for him in the shadows of an alley, the distant echo of footsteps made my heart race, not just from fear, but from anticipation. He appeared, breathless and urgent. "We can't stay safe just hiding," he said, gripping my hand tightly. "We have to fight back." His fierce gaze ignited something fierce inside me. We were both caught in a game bigger than ourselves, but in his presence I felt courage swell. He pulled me close, voice low and desperate. "Promise me, no matter what happens, you won't let go." I swallowed hard, lips trembling. "I won't." As we stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, the city around us seemed to pause, a fragile bubble of warmth amid the chaos. But the truth was clear. Danger wasn't just outside. It was creeping closer, tightening the noose. And with Elias by my side, I was ready to face it all. We thought we were being careful. Secret meeting spots, burner phones, codes only we understood. But the city has a way of listening in when your heart beats too loudly. They found us. It was supposed to be a safe house. A friend of Elias's, trusted, discreet. But when the locks didn't click right and the shadows outside didn't move like trees should, we knew. We barely had time to grab our things before we were sprinting into the night, hearts hammering, lungs aching. At one point, we ducked into a tunnel under the tracks, panting, backs against the stone wall. Elias reached for my face, his hand shaking. "If this goes bad," he said, voice cracking, "I need you to know, I never lied to you." I nodded, pressing my forehead to his. "I know. I never needed you to say it." I felt it. A car passed above us, rumbling like thunder. We sat there in silence, the world above us still moving, indifferent. He kissed me like it was the last time. It wasn't hungry or rushed. It was reverent, like prayer. We didn't sleep that night. Just ran, hid, moved. And when the dawn finally broke, pink and gold on the horizon, we crossed the state line in the back of a fish truck driven by a man with no questions and fewer teeth. The safe house in Vermont was colder, quieter, but it held clean sheets, steady power, and something we hadn't had in weeks' time. I found Elias on the porch one morning, wrapped in a blanket, sipping black coffee. He looked older, lighter, free. "You ever think about what we were before all this?" he asked. "I don't," I said, sliding beside him. "I only care who we are now." He kissed me again. This time, not out of fear or desperation, but because he wanted to, because we were still here, because we could. And when the first snow came, falling soft against the silence, we didn't run. We stayed, together, because in the end, the danger passed. The fear faded. But Elias? Elias was the one thing I never wanted to survive without.